Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
This is your captain, John Regan, sitting in for Vincent this week. He's out helping somebody, and I'm expecting him back here on Monday. Your dial is set correctly to USA Prepares, where converging threats are confronted daily. Today, I'm going to slow down a little bit and try to help get everybody on the same page. There's so much going on that when I'm normally on, it's basically wall-to-wall news, and we don't have time to make sure that everybody understands really what condition our condition is in. And it's kind of funny that, I didn't plan on becoming an author. It was nearly 4 years ago. I had an opportunity to speak at a group in Springfield. They're meeting at the library, so they've got limited time. They have to be out when the library closes. And they've got about a 45-minute slot for a speaker. And in February of 2012, I was that speaker, the very first time giving the financial state of the union to a group. At the time, those were the good old days. At the time, I thought I had maybe about an hour or two of videos that I needed to create, and that I could just basically put those up on YouTube and promote the videos and just get on with my life. Well, things changed. And, I think God's still laughing at that one. He has other ideas. So I had what I thought was about an hour and a half's worth of presentation. So I basically cut it down, and I thought I had what would be about 45 minutes. And I get up there, and an hour and a half later, I'm still not finished. We have to wrap up because the library is closing, and the discussion even continued on in the parking lot afterwards. And it was at that point I realized that there was just way too much material, and this thing had to be put into a book. And that was when the financial state of the union got started. If you've been tuning in this week, oh boy, has it been a wild week. Things didn't start out good in China this morning, and that's affecting us here. When we started the year, the S&P 500 was above 2,000. The Dow was above 17,000, and the NASDAQ was above 5,000. Right now, the S&P is under 1,900. The Dow is pretty darn close to going under 16,000. And the NASDAQ is just a few dollars away from going under 4,500. It's been brutal. It's been the worst start of the year ever for the market. Oil's not doing that great either. It's down to $30 and change again. And it's possible that it could even slip below 30 today. Who knows? It's still early. The other index we've been following lately is the Baltic Dry Index, which is what it costs to ship dry goods. Think of the raw materials that go into things. So it's the early part of the pipeline. It's not a perfect indicator, but at these levels, I don't think perfection matters anymore. Before the crash of 2008, this index was getting real close to $10,000. That crashed down in the last 5 years. It's poked its head above 2,000 really 3 times, reaching around 2,300 once. And then it's just, it's gone where no one thought it could go. We were watching at the end of the year as it was reaching its previous all-time lows ever. And it started the year up around the $500 range. And, I think there's a lot of us that thought, maybe this can slip into the upper 400s, but probably not a whole lot more than that. Well, this morning it's down again. $373. And what can you say about that? It's just so low. It's ridiculous. It's like what we see in the mining and commodity sector. The cost of producing something is more than what they get for it. Obviously, the economy can't stay that way for long periods of time. And we will see more bankruptcies and layoffs, especially looking at oil staying down that much. They were really hoping for some kind of rebound, but that doesn't seem to be on the way. I'm back. Sorry, you got the mute button there. Okay, I'll just continue on with talking about the financial state of the union and how that basically lays the groundwork for understanding where we are, how we got there. It's not as important to lay blame because that doesn't really help. We can look at history and see that the damage to our dollar, the real dollar, gold and silver, that goes squarely on the Democrats. We can start with President Wilson, signing the Federal Reserve Act and starting the cancer in the system back in 1913. We can look to FDR when he took gold away from American citizens and also instituted Social Security. I wish I had a copy of it, but I was watching a biography on FDR where they said that he knew that Social Security was not sustainable, and he figured that Congress would take care of it by the 1960s. Well, what happened in the 1960s? We got LBJ, and what did he do? He didn't exactly take silver away from Americans, but by creating these worthless trinkets that we use as coins today, all the silver ended up going out of circulation. He did terminate the silver certificates. And he also, not only did they not fix Social Security, they added Medicare. And that was an even bigger boondoggle than Social Security. We can turn to 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard internationally. Technically, when you read it, he just temporarily closed the gold window. So it's been temporarily closed for over 40 years. And it really didn't matter who was in office at that time, Republican, Democrat, they would have had to have done the same thing, because the United States was running out of gold. France was demanding payments in gold, and we would have gone bankrupt in 1971. It would have been a lot less painful back then, but we've gotten to see quite a ride since by creating this monopoly money that is backed by imagination. It's allowed them to leverage this out much further than anybody thought. You'll find books written how we're going to have this big financial crash back in the 1980s. And if we had real money back then, that would have happened. But what happened instead, not only was the United States on this, monopoly money standard, the rest of the world went that way as well. So it got to be, how much is your monopoly money worth in relation to another country's monopoly money? And that allowed the debt to start increasing, because they could just increase that supply.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy, or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
This is John Regan at the controls today. I'll be back with Vincent on Monday with a more normal style report. And as I was saying, when you're looking at where the monetary and the debt problems came from, you can blame most of that on Democrats. The Republicans are not out of the woods on this. You can look back when President Reagan lowered tax rates, brought in record amounts of income for the federal government. The problem was that he didn't veto all these huge spending bills, so they ended up spending more money than what they brought in. The Republicans have also done, in many ways, a much better job of destroying our freedoms than the Democrats have. And you can think of things like the Patriot Act, NDAA, and that pretty much leads us into where we are now. And if you want to not exactly follow along, I have some reference links for you at my website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. I know that's a long one. If you want to, you can go to usaprepares.com, usaprepares.com, go to the instructor tab, and click on the link by my name, and that'll get you there. And on the news tab, the first link I have under discussion is the U.S. debt clock. I know a number of you have seen this before. These are not the official numbers, but they are an approximation of where we are at this moment. So this is about as good as it gets to understand I won't say the total picture, but a lot of the picture. And even when you know what the numbers are, you then have to understand what the numbers mean. The numbers themselves are so huge that, forget about trying to comprehend it. That's just way beyond how our brains work. When you get a number of objects, say larger than 5, your brain really can't pick them out. By the time you get up to 7 or 8, you can eyeball it, and you start going about. And as soon as you get up to 20 or 30, it's you almost have to be an expert in estimation just to come close. But it's not the numbers themselves, the huge numbers. It's how they relate to each other. And in that respect, we can start getting an understanding of what it means. And so often we see the pundits out there just talk about the U.S. national debt, which is closing in on $19 trillion. That is an insane amount right there. You know, when you break that down per citizen, that's almost $60,000. Yeah, just that by itself, you know, there's no way that this could ever be paid back. The Debt Clock site also breaks that down by taxpayer. That's approaching $158,000 per taxpayer. But then again, you have to know what taxpayer means. That means people that file taxes. And when you look at the tax stats, about half of the taxpayers pay no or almost no taxes. So in essence, that 19 trillion can only be collected from, at best, half the taxpayers. So you pretty much have to double that, which gives you a number in excess of $300,000 per taxpayer in the $315,000 range. And that's just federal debt. There's no shortage of debt in America. We're number one. And we'll talk about that more when we get back from the break.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
This is John Regan filling in for Vincent this week. And boy, if we could make money off debt, we'd be in great shape. The sad thing is that most Americans alive today weren't even born, so they could even remember a time that the United States was the largest creditor nation in the world. Now the United States is the largest debtor nation. And there's so many lies that have to be unspun just to paint what the picture is. And that can't be done with these nice, neat 30-second sound bites that you see all the politicians do. Even with just the federal debt, they will tell you that it's less than the GDP because they'll say the debt owed to the public. Now, if you were in a large company and you had different parts of the company owing each other money, it's true that that's just an accounting entry and that you can, consolidate that all together and that debt takes care of itself. Well, that's not exactly the case with the federal government. That debt owed to the public is, a hard, fast part. But when you look at the amounts that's technically not owed to the public, these are the Social Security trust funds they've stolen from. So they owe it to the government. But in order to pay the benefits, they have to first get money, whether that's from taxes or through issuing debt to the public in order to pay cash because, for some reason, you can't just take an IOU down to the store and buy groceries. And when you take into account the rest of the debt, the whole $19 trillion worth, that's a number that's larger than our total GDP. Now, even the GDP is a made-up number. It includes a number of adjustments. So to me, the better way of looking at it is using what our income is, and I've been using the IRS tax stats for that. When we look at the total debt, though, because it's not just the federal government in debt, it's the state and local governments, it's businesses, and it's people. Fortunately, the state and local governments don't have a printing press to help them out. Well, technically, the federal government doesn't either, but they've got the Federal Reserve to do that for them, and then the Fed takes a piece of the action. So the state and local debt is just a fraction of that. It's only running around $3 trillion. But when you add in the corporate debt and the personal debt, we are over $64 trillion, approaching $65 trillion in total debt. And the metrics on that is, if you divide it by our population, that's over $200,000 per citizen, and based on a family unit, that's approaching $800,000. And at that point, you're probably thinking, well, I don't have that kind of money, and they can't get blood out of a turnip. Well, that's true, but they can get turnip juice, and that squeeze is coming soon. But that's even a small part of the picture. When you look at the Social Security and Medicare liabilities, there's a variety of numbers that you'll see for this, and it's called the unfunded liabilities because there's nothing in the budget anywhere to account for these. On the U.S. Debt Clock website, you'll see the U.S. unfunded liabilities in the $100 trillion range. Again, using the metric, that's over $800,000 per taxpayer, and that's in addition to everything else that we've talked about, the total debt per family of almost $800,000. And so if you want to be a millionaire, you need to be just to be able to pay off the hole that we've dug. I've provided a link where you can get to the Social Security Trustee Report and the Financial Report of the United States. The Financial Report will use information from the Trustee Report for these unfunded liabilities. And you'll believe the current number is somewhere in the $70 trillion range. And you have to understand that since Obama took office, they changed the way of doing things. And it's so bad that the auditors will not sign off on that section of the financial report because it does not conform to GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. So even on that low side, it's a horrendous amount. If you just dive into the Social Security Trustee Report, I believe it's the last table in the report, you get to see a breakdown, and you may have to go to the supplemental year table to get the total for the next 75 years by year. And when you add that all together, just for the next 75 years, it's going to take over $200 trillion to pay Social Security and Medicare over and above what taxes are bringing in. And that's one of the things that none of these presidential candidates will bother to tell you about. And I guess there's good reason, because if they did, not only did they not get elected, it might turn into hunting season on Congress critters that have done this to our country. It is not a pretty sight. You may also see news articles about Professor Kotlikoff saying that the unfunded liabilities are in the neighborhood of $200 trillion. And this $100 trillion on the U.S. debt clock and the $200 trillion that Professor Kotlikoff talks about, that's not what we need to pay out. These are the present value, meaning we'd have to have this in the bank today earning interest in order to pay all future Social Security, Medicare, going not just the next 75 years, but into the indefinite future, and to try and give you the financial term on that, it's infinite horizon, and it's not really forever. It's basically the point where it's the point where you don't need to add more money to take care of the increment into the future because of the effects of interest over time. But the point being, it's a ridiculous amount of money that can't be supported. And when you stop and look, if you just wanted to keep the situation from getting worse, you can't do it. There's not enough income out there to fund this, even if Congress wouldn't spend it. You can't really grow your way out of this because you need additional population and energy for that. And on top of that, we've seen a wage stagnation in just nominal terms. When you talk about real terms adjusted for inflation, basically people haven't made more for a few decades now. And then you start adding on, all the automation where robots will be taking care of things, all the jobs that will be going that way. As far as I know, those robots don't pay taxes. So that's going to be a hit to all levels of government when it comes to their income. And it's not just the United States. When you look worldwide, and at the time that I did this update last year, we were sitting at about $60 trillion total debt for the U.S. The world debt was about $100 trillion, so we had 60% of the world debt. And that's on what I can verify. There's another firm out there that you may have seen reports on that says since the financial crisis, total debt in the world's increased 57 trillion and the total debt's now 200 trillion. I cannot confirm that yet. I've been working on that. And if that is the case, then everything I tell you is actually on the light side of things, and the real situation would be worse. It's it's not pleasant to look at, but it's a jolt of reality. If you think that we're going to get around a financial collapse, and I get into it in much more depth. It takes me an hour just in front of a live audience to present the financial condition. And don't have that much time on radio. Be back after this break.
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
This is John Regan talking about the financial state of the union. And if you'll just bear with me a little bit longer, I'm going to get away from the numbers and talk more about what the ramifications are. The biggest problem we have are those unfunded liabilities for Social Security and Medicare. Now, we can't cover them even if we taxed 100% of income. The other solution would be to do away with the programs. And I would submit that's not viable either. It's probably the only way we could come close to avoiding a financial collapse. But if we got rid of those programs, the social unrest would be so great that it would probably end up with a financial collapse anyway. I suppose another option, and this may be part of the reason for Obamacare, if you just kill off all those old people, then you don't have to pay out the Social Security and Medicare. But to put it into perspective, we've according to the U.S. debt clock, and I think that's light. I think Professor Kotlikoff is closer. We need $100 trillion in the bank, earning a bit over 5% interest, just to pay the future promises that this government has made. Well, in the United States, and this is out of the CIA World Fact Book in the economy section, when you look at how much money we have, there's two definitions. One is narrow money, and that's what most of us think of as money. And then there's broad money, which includes some depository accounts that you can get money in short order. So for the stock of narrow money, we have less than $3 trillion. And this is as of December 2014 for these estimates. For broad money, it's a little bit less than 12 trillion. So if we took all the money out of all the accounts and applied that to the problem, you still have nearly 90% of the problem left. And what do we do if we threaten the rest of the world? Give us all your money. Well, the total narrow money for the world is almost 29 trillion. And the broad money, so if you get everything from everywhere, that's sitting about 80 trillion. So even if we could get all the money from everybody, that's not even enough money to make the investment. And even if there was enough money, that brings up a new problem. What do you invest it in? There's really only two ways. You can put it into stocks, and the market value of all publicly traded shares is about $60 trillion. So we can't even get enough there, and there's no guarantee that those would earn us the 5% plus interest rate that we need. And the rest of it, you could invest into debt. Now, it's true there's no shortage of debt. We know there's at least 100 trillion, possibly 200 trillion in debt out there. But not all that debt, especially government debt, is earning 5% or more. In fact, some of that government debt is earning negative interest rates. So it's a no-win situation. And when I wrote the book, I had no idea how long they could keep this up. And I've talked about the update where I've just taken the total income, government spending, and debt service, and that hits the wall by 2020. It's John Regan. Be back after the top of the hour news break.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Rainier Distillers designs and builds custom copper stills for home purification of water, distilling alcohol, essential oils, cannabis oil, and ethanol fuel. Use these distillers at home to remove all those nasty chemicals that are added to your public drinking water by fluoridation, resulting in pure, safe drinking water for you and your family. Call RainierDistillers.com at 360-446-8998 and check out their website at RainierDistillers.com, located in Seattle, Washington.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
I am so looking forward to Vincent being back on Monday. This is your captain, John Regan. We've been talking about the financial state of the union. And I know talking about numbers on the radio is tough. It's even tough in front of a live audience. But the groundwork has to be laid for what the position is. And if you have any numbers that you think are better than these, I'd really like to know about it. If there's something that can prove that the situation is not that dire. I've been looking for years and have yet to find it. Well, what does this all mean? The numbers are one thing. How does that affect our lives? And the closest example we have is the Great Depression, when the economy just pretty much ground to a halt. If you had a job, life was still pretty good for you, but if you didn't have a job, oh boy, was that rough. And you can look at pictures from the Great Depression and the soup lines and even the signage in the towns, saying, if you're looking for a job, just keep on going. We've already been experiencing part of that. We don't see it because today, instead of the soup lines, we have electronic benefit cards, and we have millions of people in the supermarket lines that look just like normal shoppers. When the government can no longer afford to fund that, that's when things will be interesting. When the Great Depression happened, there was not the dependency class that we have now. There was no Social Security. There were no food benefit programs. And we've already seen when there's disruptions in the machines working, there's a certain percentage of this dependency class that turns violent fairly quick. Now, even with the Great Depression, we had people starving. Hunger was a big issue. So we take the starvation, we take the violence, and for those of you that may have been listening to Hagman and Hagman, he had a guest, V, the guerrilla economist, and his team sat down to look at, if it's just a financial collapse, how many people die. And that's roughly 10% of the population, plus or minus, say 5 million. So say 25 to 35 million people will die due to either starvation or violence. And that is actually the happy path. Now, I would contend that there would be a way to get around that. Unfortunately, I don't see the willingness in people and governments to do so. If we could get somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 20% of the households raising food in their own backyard, things like vegetables and chickens and other small animals. Most cities don't even let you do a lot of that. But if we could get that number of people before the collapse, then there'd be quite a bit of food available, and we could avoid the starvation and hopefully the violence. But I don't see people taking action on that until after they see the collapse. Unfortunately, that seems to be human nature. So trying to take care of things on a national level just isn't there. One of the links I have for discussion is the CCC inventory. This goes back where the government used to maintain a supply of food and also some cotton as commodities, kind of like the rainy day fund. And when I first saw this, it was around 2007, 2008. At that time, the only food items that had any stock was wheat. And there would be enough wheat in there to bake half a loaf of bread for every American once. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't comfort me very much. The latest report shows a few bales of cotton, and they've even put that into the barter category. So as far as the commodity supply, it's not there anymore. Now, we do know that FEMA has prepared for certain emergencies. And we've talked about the difference between 1964 and 2015 on the show before. In 1964, the government had enough food for emergency purposes to feed 100% of the population 2 meals a day for 3 years. 3 years, gives you a pretty good amount of time to recover from, I'd say almost anything. 2015, the government now has enough food on hand to feed 100% of the people 2 meals a day for 1 day. If you're expecting the government to be able to fix things, take care of things, maintain order, it's not going to be there. So that's why it is so important that you now bring this down to your family level and get ready. Obviously food is a big one, and along with, water, shelter, and protection. We have a caller, Kyle from Montana. Welcome, Kyle.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Hey, I had a couple of quick questions for you. I don't want to get you down too big of a rabbit trail here, but what would happen if the federal government were to basically tell the Federal Reserve, we're not going to pay anything, just forget about paying the debt because it's funny money anyway, and reset the clock, so to speak, with, I don't know how they would do that with Social Security or anything, because like you said, I don't think they could do that. There'd be too many people dying. And then lower taxes to increase revenue into the country, and and then try to maintain that way. I'm wondering if that would be a possibility. And the second question, then I'll listen for the rest off air. But at what point, or what do you think will cause the paper gold and silver market to unhinge from the physical metal and the reality of it. And then I'll just listen off air for your responses.
Okay.
Thanks.
I've got a chapter in the book I call the Land of Can't We? Because, along the way I got these questions, but can't we and some of those caused me to do a bunch of research. And there are people that believe, why don't we just not pay the debt and screw the bankers? Well, that would be great if the bankers owned the debt, but the bankers don't. The bankers have sold it. So a lot of that debt, some of it is in private investment for people that do have savings, but a lot of it is invested in pension funds. So if you cancel the debt, you don't hurt the bankers. You destroy the pension funds that people are relying on. So it's a nice thought, but it doesn't fix the problem of, it would fix the problem of the debt side of it, but it still doesn't fix the problem of the unfunded liabilities. And, when I was doing the research, and this is going back to like the 2007, 2008 time frame, the early days before I'd even started my master's in finance, and I've learned so much more since. Sometimes I wonder if that was a good thing or not. But even back then, and I guess get back the levels then were so much less. Where they were a little bit more manageable than today. But in doing the research, I was finding a couple of things. One, as I was looking at how did these things happen, and going back, whether it's like the communism route where you end up with, Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto, whether you go down the Darwinian route and look in the background of Darwin, all the things that have led us to where we are, sooner or later, I found a satanic connection. And at the same time, I'm looking in the Bible and finding the instructions that we were given. Of course, we don't follow those anymore. And that's part of the reason we're in this situation now. And I'll go a little bit deeper on that when we get back from this break.
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Why be held hostage by your wireless carrier for 2 years? What if you had no contract, no activation fees, no hidden costs, tracking, tracing, harvesting customer data, or draconian gimmicks, all on the nation's best 4G LTE network? Introducing Pix Wireless. Bring your phone and other qualifying devices to Pix and choose a plan starting at only $14 a month. Get connected now. Call or click 1-866-267-2056 or PixWireless.com. Spelled P-I-X, wireless.com. Pick Pix and get connected today.
This is John Regan at the controls. I've looked at where we've progressed into the situation we're in, and I see some of the things that's happened with our churches and how we stopped listening to the way God told us to do things. We were told, you can't serve two masters. But what has most of our churches done? We follow the world. We go out and work for that master, and then we don't have time for what's important. We're taught that you can serve two masters, just make sure you tithe. And that's why I bring up the Amish as much as I do. They've done a good job of keeping it together. They are growing their own food with low technology. It's a lot of hard work, but when the grid goes down, they're still going to be able to eat. Those of us that bought into the you can serve two masters are going to find out the food's not going to be on the shelf. And there's so many challenges in trying to move that direction. Even if you went out and bought property, it's going to take at least a year to convert that into a farm, even with all of today's technology. It takes years to develop all the skills. And to try and even do it all is would be an exercise in futility. You can't learn it all. You would just end up failing. That's why you need a community, which is even tougher to create. The Amish have kept their families intact and kept communities. and for whatever faults they have in their communities, they're still better off than most of us. So we're looking at trying to probably go at our own, because most families have disintegrated, and try and find other people. And it is frustrating. And I'm hoping that when I go to the Hear the Watchman conference, that's the top link on my post today on the news tab of the financialstateoftheunion.com. There's an initiative, Hagman and Hagman Connections, to connect people that really don't have the connections, the church home that they're really seeking. And I'm hoping in that group we can find the right combination and the willingness to take action, because you don't have to have all the answer. You only need a piece of it, and if you work together, you can make things happen. It's going to be exceedingly tough, but there's people out there that have land, but they're maybe older and not able to work it. So, there can be people without money, but the willingness to work and learn. You can find enough people that are experts that you have someone that can guide you while you're learning the craft, whether it's the plant side of it or the animal side of it. Getting important positions like those that know how to use herbs, midwives. To me, those are much more critical than having somebody that is a doctor or a ham radio operator. Because doctors are so used to technology too, and they're not going to have the lab tests and the pharmacy available that we have today. So it's not hopeless. It will take a lot of work. And I can guarantee one thing: if you do nothing, you will be a victim. And if your happiness depends on the next 50 years being as peaceful and prosperous as the last 50, you will be disappointed. Back in a few minutes.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack and was told I'd be on disability for the rest of my life. What did I do? I created Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. Clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now, and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
John Regan at the controls today. Vincent will be back with us on Monday. We've pretty much established that we can't get around a financial collapse. It's going to be ugly, probably at least as bad as the Great Depression. And if we use that as well as other lessons out of history, what normally happens after such a tough economic time is war. There's multiple reasons for that, one of which people need resources, food and water especially, so they will attack neighbors to get that. And you've also got governments that want to keep themselves in power, so they want to take the anger that the revolting peasants have and turn it outwards instead of inwards. The thing is, war is different now, especially with our modern technology. Even from World War II times, the United States itself, the mainland, was basically left undamaged. We are in a position now with all the rocketry, the drones, and it doesn't even take that much. It could take just a couple of dozen people with some RPGs, some rocket-powered grenades, going around to key transformers and taking those out. And when you lose one of these large transformers, it's not an off-the-shelf item. They're custom built for the situation they're put into. And even in these normal times, from placing an order to receiving the transformer is about 3 years. Before that backlog, it took at least a year. And we don't even manufacture them in the United States anymore. So with somewhere between half a dozen to a dozen of those key transformers destroyed, that by itself would bring down the grid. In the book, I talk about electromagnetic pulse, EMP. I've got a link to the EMP Commission reports. After 9/11, Congress created this commission to report on what the effects of EMP would be on our infrastructure. There's a preliminary and a final there, or an executive report, and the final. You can pretty much pick either one. You're going to get the same information, and it will, it will wake you up to what we will lose when the power grid goes down. And, perhaps you can use that resource to help wake people up, understanding how, in a blink of an eye, we have to start living like Little House on the Prairie days. And actually before that, because even then, they had a working supply chain with, trains at that point for a lot of the land-based logistics. When that supply chain goes down, it's not going to be pretty. And before I run out of time, I do want to talk about the final link that I put in today's post. It says Jonathan Gray. Jonathan Gray is a biblical archaeologist. And I've purchased most of his books and DVDs. I haven't had time to read most of the books. Some of them, there's several hundred pages. I'm too busy with other things. But it's something that's going to be nice to have for times when we do have free time. The only regret I have is I bought them in PDF format to save money. I wish I'd purchased them as physical books, because if I can't get a computer going, then I won't be able to read them. But if you go to his website, even if you can't afford to buy books right now, there's a place to sign up for his newsletter, which he sends out a couple of times a week. And a lot of these newsletters end up being chapters out of his book. And I posted one of them back in December of 2013 called The 3,000-Year-Old Aircraft from World War II. And this shows how our wonderful scientific dating techniques are off. So how can you have 3,000-year-old aircraft from World War II, which occurred 70 years ago? Well, there are these planes that landed. I have to go back and read it, whether it's Greenland or Iceland, and they went under the ice. And when they went back decades later and going down through the ice, there were all of these alternating rings of, like tree rings, light and dark. And in science, they consider that annual rings. So when they do these ice cores around the world and are dating things, they're basing it on those rings. Well, when they got down to where the aircraft were, there were, around 3,000 of those rings. And obviously, the aircraft are not 3,000 years old. So you try to tell that to a scientist, and you might get that deer in the headlight look for a minute, and then, as you can see by the annual ice rings, and if you're interested in reading that piece, you can go to my website, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com, and do a search for 3,000-year-old aircraft from World War II, or you can go into the archives for December of 2013 and find the post. And that's an example of the type of email that you would get from Jonathan. I also found it interesting when he would do these presentations that I watched on DVD. At the end of the presentation on this biblical archaeology, he would do an invitation. And I just thought that was so incredible. Because there's, we give our kids over to the public schools. They're taught the Darwinian religion. And there is so much out there that supports the Bible that the public just doesn't get. In fact, most of the churches don't get either. I remember another report back during, I don't remember if it was Gulf War I or II at this point, but the satellite, when they were looking for tanks, because they would have a heat signature, even if they were buried under the sand, to camouflage them. And they saw this, I guess you could call it a road that went from Egypt over into Saudi, which is the remnant of where over 1 million people walked the desert and basically crushed the sand into this fine powder that's practically a concrete, and that gives off a different thermal signature and provided another piece of evidence that the Exodus was real. So many people just view the Bible as a bunch of fables, and this is a great resource for learning to counter that. And I really believe that if you're in that Darwinian camp and you believe everything happens by accident, that you're going to be really depressed, besides the problem of going to a place that you don't want to end up. The alternative is to follow Jesus, and the basic formula on that is to repent, which means stop your sinning worldly ways and be baptized. Now, we've got different denominations simply because we can't agree on what baptism is anymore. But it all boils down to what your relationship is. And we tend to ask the wrong questions. We tend to ask people, do you know Jesus? When the more important question is, does Jesus know you? Well, getting back to the situation that we find ourselves in, that's pretty much what I put in the book, is looking at a financial collapse, most likely followed by a war. There's other factors going on there and other things that could happen. In addition to the financial collapse, we're pretty much at the end of life for the dollar being the reserve currency for the world. And even if it wasn't the reserve currency, it's at the point where it's almost worthless. And you can look at the inflation calculator and see that. And using the lessons of history, when the currency collapses, that's when that country usually ends up with a dictatorship. And some might argue that we're pretty much there already. But given what's going on in the world today, it's quite possible that we could have the war before the financial collapse, Either way, it pretty much ends up the same way. But there's one exception, and we'll talk about that when we get back.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Did you know that home break-ins increase more than 100% during the holidays? It takes just 10 seconds for an intruder to kick in your door, but police response to a home alarm system is more than 20 minutes, and intruders are in and out of your home in 5 minutes. Thieves know that you're not home and have presents inside just waiting to be taken. And if you are home, how safe will you feel with an intruder lurking inside with your family? That's why police across the country are recommending you use door armor. Proven to withstand the force of a battering ram, door armor keeps intruders out. It's easy to install and barely visible, and your door armor is guaranteed for life. Go to InvasionStopper.com for a very special buy one, get one at half off deal. These savings are for a limited time and only available to GCN listeners. Protect your valuables and loved ones this holiday season. Go to InvasionStopper.com now. That's InvasionStopper.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you all about the newest and best way to sell your products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, a brand new site to sell your stuff online. Your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the other guys. Buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge you item fees. Go
Go to the website now and sign up so that you can soon load all your stuff up to sell. This is not an auction site. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to user-friendly buysellmakeoffer.com, where the first 30 days are on us.
It's John Regan sitting in for Vincent this week. As I've talked about, such a financial collapse usually leads to war. I would hope that there's enough sanity left that we wouldn't have a nuclear war, which would provide a lot of fallout, as well as with the fires and everything, a nuclear winter that would make it very difficult to grow food for at least a year or two. We do see a lot of evidence where countries are trying out EMP-based weapons, and if that happens, then and we might want to hope for that option. We end up without the technology. The bad news is, based on the food supply we have, we're talking about roughly a 99.5% fatality rate just due to lack of food. And that's probably in the first 60 days, not the year that you tend to see in these articles online. The other thing that can happen is we get on the other side of the financial collapse without war and with our technology intact. And that is disturbing as well. And whether it starts taking on the form of the communist model where the companies are owned by the state, or it takes on the more socialist, fascist, corporatist model where there's private ownership of the companies, but it's controlled by the government. That part really doesn't matter much. That's more window dressing. What matters is the technocracy. The technology that we have now makes 1984 seem like a paradise. The total surveillance that's coming with the Internet of Things, and then behind that, the control. And it might not be outright control to begin with, but how they'll do it is they'll get you in the pocketbook. If you want to have your thermostat set to 70 instead of 76, you can do that, but it'll cost you a lot of money. If you want to live in a rural area, at least for a little while, you can do that, but it'll just cost you $1 a mile to drive anywhere. So they'll get most of what they want through financial pain until they get people into the cities. And based on what we've seen with those models in the past, tens of millions of people being killed by the state, I can't give you a projection on what it would be. We do have the Georgia Guidestones that would suggest they want to get rid of most of us down to a level of 500,000. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to their plans. We can only read the tea leaves. There's differences in the way of preparing for that. If it's without the technology, that's where the homestead comes in handy. If it's with the technology, you either have to submit to the state and then go into their system, or you pretty much probably have to adapt a hunter-gatherer lifestyle and go into the woods. I'm looking to see if there's any other options out there, but those are the only two I'm really seeing right now. I'd like to give you one of my favorite Ayn Rand quotes. You can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And unfortunately, whether it's the people in government that are part of the problem, or I guess even a step before that, the useful idiots and stupid voters, and those are not my words. The useful idiots comes from Russia. Stupid voters from Jonathan Gruber. You just can't keep on ignoring it. Eventually, it's going to get you. Remember, class, honesty and integrity. What happens next? It's up to you.
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey Guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.